What is going on, guys? Reaper here with another movie recommendation video. So I have two movies for you guys today. One is a horror and one is a comedy. I feel like I've already done that. I definitely have done that. But whatever. So the first movie that I'm going to recommend to you guys is going to be a movie called Due Date. Now, this video should be up relatively soon after Marvel's Avengers Infinity War came out, and a movie that not too many people, in my opinion, know about, with Robert Downey Jr. in it, is a movie called Due Date. So essentially, it's Robert Downey Jr., Zach Galifianakis, aka what's his name? Something from The Hangover. Shoot, Alan from The Hangover. He's in a lot of other stuff, but that's his pretty much most famous role. And essentially, they run into each other at the airport, and through a series of bag mix-ups, they both get on the no-fly list. There's a great line about that I'm not going to spoil if you guys end up watching it, because it's actually really funny and I always quote it. Not that I don't quote every other movie that I see, because if you know me, you know that that's all I do, which I get it. It can be annoying, but that's my thing. So yeah, they run into each other at the airport. They get on the no-fly list, and it's a cross-country road trip. So kind of like Identity Thief, if you guys have seen that one. Another great movie with Melissa McCarthy and Jason Bateman. Super funny as well. But yeah, so they're traveling across country, and honestly, like, people mostly know Robert Downey Jr. obviously from the Iron Man and Avengers movies. I knew him from a few different things. Honestly, he's in a lot of good stuff that's not Avengers related. He's in a movie called The Judge, which I think that's what it's called. Which I didn't see, but I really wanted to, and eventually I will. But I've heard that movie is fantastic. I personally loved him in Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2, because I feel like his persona just kind of embodies that character. So yeah, that he's in that movie actually. My favorite movie is The Nice Guys. If I haven't mentioned that before, which I probably have a million times, but the director of that, Shane Black, also did Lethal Weapon, which another set of great movies. But he also made his first like feature director movie. It was called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Again, Robert Downey Jr. is in that movie. It's really funny, like detective kind of crime thriller, and again, that one is great. So just dropping a ton of movies in this video, I guess. So it's a little bit of a bonus, but yeah, Due Date. There's just a lot of great. I feel like it's a lot of improv, honestly. Not like Grown Ups or like, I don't know, Paul Blart or something like that, where there's like no script. I feel like, and it's mostly just improv. I still like those movies, but I digress. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of improv that went on, and there's some really great quotable lines, and it's just a really fun movie overall, and it has a great ending that kind of wraps everything up. So yeah, first movie is Due Date. Second movie, I feel like I've mentioned it maybe in my horror video, but I don't think I've actually recommended it. Is a movie called The Evil Dead, and honestly, I don't know which one. I'd probably recommend the second one. I would watch both, but essentially what happened was, due to production value, just kind of a lot of things that went wrong with the first one. Because for those who don't know, Sam Raimi is the director, and a lot of problems happened on the set of the first movie, which maybe I'll actually make a video about that. That's actually something interesting to do, is like problems that movies have on set. But anyway, like I said, they had a lot of problems on set. A lot of actors dropped out. They didn't have the money. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell essentially financed it themselves for the most part, because it was sort of like an indie film at the time. So they got a bigger budget for the second one. They kind of retold the first movie, but added in some different plot points and beats and stuff like that. And I feel like if you watch both, they're two standalone movies. Like I said, a few seconds ago, it is a retelling, so a lot of the same stuff is happening, but it also is kind of continuous on from what the first one had. And again, if you guys, it's the first one. I feel like was focused more on the horror element of it. There were some kind of quirks and stuff like that, but for the most part, it was focused on horror. The second one is very there's a very big tone shift, and it is still a lot of horror stuff. And honestly, like I've been watching a lot more horror movies lately, and I've been kind of conditioning myself a little bit, if you will. But the first one, the makeup effects are actually relatively creepy. Like there's and the voice mixing they have in there for the demons is actually pretty solid for the time that it came out and the budget that they had. So the second one is very slapstick, has better visual effects. They obviously have like a continuous cast as opposed to the first one. And if you guys like the second one, because that's the one I recommended, I would watch the first one. I would also watch Army of Darkness, which is the sequel to, I guess, the first two, and it takes place after the second movie, like in terms of canon. And it's just very wacky, and it builds on what the second one brought with its like comedy and its action and stuff like that and horror elements, and it just kind of ramps it up a notch. And if you like that, then I would absolutely on Netflix recommend um, Ash versus the Evil Dead. They did a TV series. Unfortunately, it got canceled after this third season. The first two seasons are on Netflix, and it's so wild and out there. It does have some horror elements to it. Like the first episode, I was like, wow, this is actually kind of creepy. Um, but it's so over the top, and like it ramps it up to like 100 out of 10 on the crazy scale. And there's some really insane moments that just can't be described, and I wouldn't want to describe them because they're so odd and out there. But yeah, so tangent over. Two movie recommendations: Due Date, Evil Dead 2. I hope you guys watch the movies. If you do watch the movies, or if you have seen them, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about them. And if you like the video, maybe consider subscribing. And I have been Reaper. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Peace out.